What killed your feelings for someone you were once madly in love with?
I walked in on this bald head pigeon-toed bitch rubbing on her good homeboy's head. And now y'all know y'all probably like, here, like, what the fuck is you talking about? She was one of those girls that was always like, oh, like, I don't get along with, like, females. I don't have any friends that are girls because girls are just weird and they always being weird to me and being mean. Red flag number 547. But on this particular day, I went to go see her. She lived in a different state. And I literally, like, came to her homeboy's house because that's where she was. When I tell y'all, soon as I get there, first of all, the front door not locked at all, so this bitch ain't give a fuck about my feelings at all. You just gonna let me see you rubbing this nigga head. Y'all, she's caressing the back of this man's head. Caressing the back of this man's head. And she abruptly stops when I come in. And I'm just sitting there looking like, the fuck going on? And she like, oh, his hair is so soft, blah, blah, whatever the fuck like that. Me and this nigga got the same hair, bitch, and you don't rub my hair like that. Like, oh, you low down, dirty bitch. She was fucking this nigga the whole time, y'all, the whole time. With bitches, I could, I let it go, but with this nigga.
Okay, I know this is going to be a hard pill for some people to swallow because it is something that I'm still struggling to like fully grasp. But especially if you are someone who tends to love people deeply, like me, may be sometimes at your own detriment, you may find that nothing kills your feelings for that person, that nothing ever truly makes them go away. But just because you have feelings for them, just because you still love them, doesn't necessarily mean that it's a healthy or a safe relationship for you. We often talk about following your heart, but sometimes you gotta think your way through it too. I'm going through a situation like this now where it's a constant tug of war between my feelings and what I know to be healthy and safe.
Renovating a house with my fiance. I remember the specific moment that I realized it was over. The entire renovation, I had to take the lead on everything. I just wanted to pick like the tiles and the colors, but no. I had to find the contract. I had to schedule everything. Even the things that I assigned to him, I'd have to nag him. Have you called him? Have you scheduled that? It was exhausting. He had no get up and go. No ability to manage his own time. He needed me to mother him. Do this, do that. But the real moment was when we needed a sign off to knock down a wall. And he was assigned that. I got the contractor to knock down the wall, but he needed to get the sign off from the structural engineer saying that it was not a load-bearing wall. So I kept nagging him. Did you do that? No. 2 days later. Did you do that? No. 2 days later. Did you do that? Yeah, I got the sign off. Great. I scheduled the contractor to take down the wall. It wasn't load-bearing. The contractor took down the wall. He calls me. The roof is caving in. How was that possible? My fiance lied. He lied about having the sign off. There was no meeting with any structural engineer. He just didn't want to do it, so he lied. It was at that moment that I realized this is not a man. This is a child. I do not want this to be the rest of my life. Peace out.
I just ended a 6-year relationship with someone because he refuses to put effort in our relationship and also because he got comfortable. Okay, so there was this one time, it was basically Raya month, and I took a 2 weeks worth of annual leave to relax, stay at home, and basically do whatever I want because it's been so long since I ever took leave from work. So for the first week, I spent an entire week with my family, just hanging out in their place and then going on vacation with them, hoping to expect that the second week would be just my time and him. Mind you, he knew that I took that 2-week annual leave because I told him like we could do so many things within like 1 week because it's been so hard for me to take any time off from work. So of course, as a girl, you would expect and hope that, the guy will make plans and we will go out on dates. Doesn't matter if it's every day, just so long as you just at least go somewhere, But I spent the second week of my annual leave just rotting and crying at home because he said that he's too busy for me and that he said that he didn't have the time to take me out or do anything with me. I even remember fighting with him about it over the phone at night and just crying myself to sleep because he said that I didn't understand him because not only was he in a unstable financial situation, but also because I didn't really understood that he had not much time. Just a reminder to everybody that no one is ever too busy for you. Everybody has 24 hours in a day, 7 days in a week. And if someone really truly loves you and values you, they would go out of their way to make time for you and put in effort to plan stuff with you just so they could spend time with you. I've never felt so alone at the time, and I felt so heartbroken because I was really hoping and looking forward to spending time with him. Even if that date was just us walking at the park. And if you want to talk money, there are just so many more plenty of dates that doesn't even require much money. But yeah, ever since then I realized that I should probably find that in someone else, or maybe I should just find that within myself. Hence, from then on, I just never felt the same. And even way before, throughout all the red flags that was there. So my advice is don't ever ignore the red flags, and it's not your job to make a man feel like a man. You can't make them something they're not.
He got me an alarm clock the last Christmas we were ever together. Now let me preface this by saying it's been a very long time. This happened years ago, and a lot has changed. And, you know, everyone's moved on and everyone's happy. But we had been together over 3 years at this point. We were living together, raising his son together, doing, you know, life and, you know, talking about building a little family and having very serious conversations. We never really went big for any kind of holidays, birthdays, Christmas, nothing like that, except for his son, of course. We had a pretty large party for his birthday. We went out with a couple friends for mine, but everything else in between, not so much about gifts, none of that. It was never really important to us. But the last year that we were together was very rocky for a multitude of reasons on both sides. And this was shortly before I found out he was cheating on me. This was shortly after a decision I had to make about us. And we were having Christmas at his parents', of course. And I had gotten him these replica things from Star Wars, these 2 figurines that they had used in the movies in some sort of screen production. I was so proud of myself. It took me months to find these before everything else I found out. And his mother gave me a really beautiful piece of jewelry. And he got me a can opener, like a little handheld one, or hand crank, and an alarm clock, like one of those alarm clocks you see in like the 50s or 60s with the little thingy that jiggles on the top. And I'll never forget sitting in his parents' living room, trying not to cry for how little he thought of me and how little he thought of us. Because his reasoning was, well, your alarm's really annoying on your phone. I really hate your alarm. And this will just work better. I like this better. And I moved out. And we separated by February. And I moved into my car. I never looked back.
So I once had an ex who wouldn't stop cheating on me, and I remember going to my mom for advice about it, and her saying, like, only you will know when you're sick and tired. And at that time I didn't really know what she meant by that, but she was like, I can't tell you what to do, nobody can tell you what to do, only you know when you're sick and tired. Well, one night I went out, got drunk, so the next day I come home. He had to work that morning, but I was off, and I was hungover, and I just was on the couch watching cartoons, just really just hanging out. And at this time he was trying to get himself together, so he wasn't texting anybody else but me. So he's texting me while he's at work, and he's like pissed because I'm not texting back fast enough because I'm hungover, like I'm just in and out of sleep, you know. And he's pissed that I wouldn't text him back fast enough or entertain him while he was at work. And I'll never forget, it pissed me off so bad that I was like, you know what, I'm done. I'm done. I don't want this relationship. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm done. And I remember him being like, what do you mean? Like, after this small argument, how can you break up with me? Like, what's going on? So he comes home and I was done. Like, done. I left the relationship. Like, I was over it. And what it was I had really, it was like the stick that broke the camel's back, right? The straw that broke the camel's back. And at that moment, I realized I couldn't do it anymore. I had no more fighting me. I had no more arguing in me. I had no more crying in me. And I left. And that was it. And that's when I learned, you know when you sick and tired. And at that moment, baby, I was sick and tired.